You know what? This week, I'm just going to go ahead and do the intro right at the start, since I didn't do it at all
Good
last week. Which I realized right as I was ending the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Whatnauts Captain's Log number 236, I believe, where every week we thirst for the taste of legend. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
I am
Melissa,
doing okay.
how are you?
How's your week been, Kyle? I am doing okay. How's your week been, Kyle?
The week has been good. It has been filled with nothing but Legend of Zelda.
I've heard of her.
Tears of the Kingdom. Been playing
I've
that
heard of
a lot
her.
as I say that in my Xbox.
You can have many loyalties. That's okay. You can have many loyalties. They won't stop you. That's okay.
I do. Yeah.
They won't stop you.
I do. I'm not on like Team Xbox. We're the best. Nothing's ever gonna bring us down. Or anything like that, except for the CMA that blocked the acquisition. Is that right? Governing body. The UK one approved the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, but then it was the EU one, or no, it's the.
I don't need to know this.
Who knows? Who cares?
I don't need to know this.
You don't. You might get wind of it down the road here at the end of this month. I'll save that one for later. But anyways, yeah, I've been playing lots of Zelda, lots of Tears of the Kingdom, and that game is a lot of fun. It's really, really cool. I had a friend of mine in a Discord be like, have you found pants yet? I have yet to find pants. And I was like, yes, I have found 3 pairs.
Are these for Link?
Already.
Wow. Do you have to dress him? Are these for Link you find around? Do you have to dress him with just clothes you find around?
When the game starts, yeah, he's just in like undies, like underwear, and you get to like explore and find clothes, which help you like gain armor and stuff like that. And apparently they had found a shirt, but no pants.
Not a distinguished look for a young hero. Not a distinguished look for a young hero. Just Donald ducking it around Hyrule.
Yeah, exactly. Really showing off that master sword, if you know what I mean. So it's been good. It's been fun. But that's been my weekend, my week. I've been playing most of the day. So if anyone asks, I'm working. Let's just put it at that. Let's leave it at that. But
that's good.
Having a blast with that.
That's good.
Besides that, though, kind of an uneventful week.
Doesn't have to be eventful.
I haven't really done.
Doesn't have to be eventful.
Much. Yeah, that's totally fine. Did end up watching a movie with my partner. We watched the original Lone Wolf and Cub.
From when?
Movie.
From when?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 72. I believe old stuff. They made like 3 of them in 1 year.
Wow.
Back then, and then they made like 2 or 3 more that next year. They made a bunch of them. But I was interested to note that the creator of the comic was the one that wrote the screenplay for the movie. So I was like, that should be neat. And yeah, it was like shot for shot. Like that's exactly what happened in the comics. That's how it looks. That's how it was like talked about, like all that stuff. So I guess you could say that that's my cinema corner for the week. That I watched that, and it was a good adaptation in that it was faithful to the comic. I don't know if I would say it's a good movie. Like, oh my God, Melissa, you need to see this movie right now. It's so good. But it was entertaining.
Nice.
But there you go. There's like 6 of them on HBO Max, or excuse me,
Max.
on Max right now.
Max.
I think they're finally dropping HBO this week or this next week.
Will it still be purple? That's my main concern. Will it still be purple? That's my main concern.
Whatever purple you're thinking, just take it to the max.
Ultraviolet. ultraviolet.
Right? Yeah. Mega purple. I don't know. Yeah, I'm assuming they're
That's
keeping
the best part.
color scheme. I haven't heard of much of like a rebrand besides just like we're just dropping the HBO from the name.
Oh, I'll still be there.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they need to. I'll still change be there. The name of that. Yeah, I'll still be there. I'll still be calling it HBO Max.
Like it was right. Like it was, we're going to be so loyal to a name that only existed. We're going to be so loyal to a name that only existed like 2.5 years. Less than back in my day, like 2.5 years. We're like back now. Let me tell you about Blockbuster. Max. Do you remember Quibi? Now let me tell you about Blockbuster. Like, do you remember Quibi?
I don't want.
Son, let me tell you about Circuit City. Son, let me tell you about Circuit City.
See, I'm okay with like misnaming HBO Max just because it's a stupid streaming service. But right, like I am someone who also tries very hard to like, even if I don't like you as a person,
yeah. What do you like to be called? Absolutely. Right. Yeah. What do you like to be called? Like, absolutely. Yeah.
I will correct myself on that if I know that I got it wrong or someone tells me like mid conversation. I'm always like, hey, thank you for correcting me. But it's a streaming service. I'm still I'm going to be calling it HBO Max and like it's named after Max Goof. Is that what? No, that's the wrong
Montana
one. That's
Max.
Disney Plus. They're also
Montana Max from Tiny Toon Adventures. Yeah. Montana Max from Tiny Toon Adventures. They named themselves Max. Money. Aspirationally. They named themselves Max. Aspirationally. We want to do what that little guy did.
There you go. Did you hear that they're apparently making a new Tiny Toons
I don't know if I did, but I like that idea.
Thing?
I don't know if I did, but I like that idea.
I think I vaguely saw something.
Let's
like
look
that.
At their core attributes. Tiny. Let's look at their core attributes. A little loony. Tiny. Attributes that continue to this day. A little loony. Those are attributes that continue to this day. Tiny. Those are evergreen. Works for kids of all generations.
Words to live by.
Works for kids of all generations.
There you go. That's what I've been up to this week, though. Melissa, I have to jump right in here. I see something on your cinema corner that I like almost completely forgot about. Is Drops of
It is.
God
Several
out
episodes are out. It is. Several episodes are out.
Wow. Okay.
We watched the trailer. At the end of the trailer, it's like coming out. The trailer. At the end of the trailer, it's like coming out. I'm late April. To ask, have you been on this yet?
Okay.
I've been meaning to ask, have you been on this yet?
I haven't looked. I just I knew it was coming out soon. I just didn't commit the date to memory or like write it down somewhere that like next show to watch, Drops of God. We did that whole trailer reaction, which I saw a recent comment on our YouTube that said there was actually a Japanese live action.
I did go back and listen to our review show episode. I did go back and listen to our review show episode on the Drops of God. We recorded that episode. You did mention that. But we recorded that episode.
Reading it off of the Wikipedia.
We recorded that, I think. Early November 2020. I think so there's a lot. Early November 2020. So there's a lot. A lot. You can forget that there was once in the early 2000s a live action Japanese in the early 2000s a live action Japanese adaptation of this comic.
Yeah, but you have.
I've started it. I've watched the first 3. I've started it. I've watched the first. I think the episodes are like full episodes. I think the episodes are like full hours. Feels like I've watched 58 minutes long, but I'm pretty sure it feels like I've watched more. I've gotten past the first. I've gotten past the wine challenge. Can you name this wine challenge?
Okay. Okay. How? Without spoiling stuff, how much does it follow what we read in the manga? Because from the looks of that trailer, it looked the character that the main character is gender swapped, and and it doesn't look like they're doing the like whole office life thing, or at least not in the same way that it was in
there's not like a Japanese beer company. There's not like a Japanese beer company. Is not yet part of the story. It's using that skeleton to tell its own story. It's using that skeleton to tell its own story, but there are manga. Just in this last episode, she goes to this fancy restaurant. Just in this last episode, she goes to this fancy restaurant, and the main character is named Miyabi. So I think they are going to adapt what they can. So I think they are going to while telling adapt what they can. And while telling something it is intriguing. And the fresh story it is intriguing. Like you get this young girl whose dad is this world-renowned from a young age wine expert. Trained her, and from a young age he trained her, smell, trained her palate, trained her in knowing what to do with wine, like learning everything but what to do with wine. She's like learning everything but drinking it. Because she's like 8 years old. Like you learn that she.
I was just gonna say he like secretly trained her. He's not like I am training you to do this one thing, but like it is like sneakily like getting her skills up in all of these things. Without
it's a lot more overt
right?
in this. It's a lot more overt. It is more overt. Like I am training you in my way of life. It is more overt. Like I am training you in my way of life as early as I can. I'm going to teach her to do like you are too young to drink alcohol. I'm going to teach her to do like everything else. I've been enjoying the show. I think it's well put together. I've been enjoying the show. I think it's well put together. It looks nice. Classy when I watch it. Very classy. I feel classy when I watch it. Very informative, which was honestly my favorite part of the comic. Which was honestly my favorite part of the comic. There was also very educational, just taught me. There was also very educational, just taught me wine demonstration of how a really nice fancy demonstration of how a waiter at a fancy restaurant a bottle of wine uncorks and all the little minutia that goes into that process, and all the little minutia that goes into that process. Yeah, so
that's cool.
I enjoy it for that factor. I enjoy it for that factor. If I already knew all of this stuff and I didn't have the joy of learning, all of this stuff, or if I didn't have the joy of learning wine, I don't know how I truly didn't care about wine. I don't know how I would. I'm going to see it through to the end of this thing. But I'm going to see it through to the end of this thing. I don't think it's a limited series. Yeah,
that's what I don't think it's not
short ones. Yeah,
because I was wondering then if they do. Like if they decide to do a season 2, would they bring in other aspects of the manga that they kind of skipped over, or stuff? Like if they don't do the like, oh, she works at this beer company thing, could they do something like that and do a more like we're competing against other companies or corporations to find the right drink for this competition that will get us the prestige and the distribution and stuff like that? Could they potentially do something like that? I mean, I guess that's just speculating at that point, but so it definitely seems like a limited series. Then you think they'll get all of the drops?
Well, it's only 3 wine challenges. It's only 3 wine challenges instead of based on the pacing so far. I can imagine. So based on the pacing so far, I can imagine this can wrap up in 10 or 12 episodes.
Yeah. See, they had a whole like it's the 12 disciples and you're like the Jesus of wine and all, and just like what is happening? This is ridiculous. They're just like, hold your horses, like let's just do 3, see how that goes.
I'm the Jesus of wine. Sounds like I'm the Jesus of wine. Sounds like a T-shirt that a dad at a Jimmy Buffett concert wears.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. I'm glad you started watching that and brought it on the show, because
you hadn't brought it up.
My mind
and I'm like,
when
where is
exactly
Kyle at with this thing? Did he watch? Where is Kyle at with this thing? Did he watch the first episode and not like it?
I'm glad you brought it on. So good stuff. Oh, I also started watching the cartoon Owl House with my partner. She's been really into it. She's seen most of the show, but the finale recently hit, like the series finale, and she hasn't watched it yet. And she's like partly like, I don't want to watch it because it's gonna be over. And she really, really enjoys it. So I've been watching it with her. I've caught certain things from like early season 1 when she initially started watching it. But I was never like truly paying attention. I was like reading a comic while she was watching it and stuff like that. So now I'm finally sitting down and paying attention, and it's a good one. It's about a young girl who is into like fantasy and magic stuff, but her mom is all like, you need to be more normal, and she's just like, I don't want to be
Mom.
normal. And then she gets like transported to this like magical world that seems to vaguely mirror a book that she really, really enjoys. It's not like a 1-to-1 like I'm in the world of the book, but it's there are some stuff in there that she's starting to wonder like, I wonder if I could be kind of like the character in this book, but for this world and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it's cool. It's fun.
I've
highly recommend it.
Seen it around. I've heard it's very good.
Seen it around.
I've heard it's very good.
I haven't had a particular impetus to watch it yet myself, but I will eventually.
There you go. Well, that's kind of my cinema corner for the week. Melissa, looks like you're about to start your hot IMAX
It has not
summer.
Yet started, but
on Friday,
it has not yet
begin.
started,
but
on Friday it will
Friday
begin.
night to go
I bought
see
my
Fast
tickets
10 in
Friday
IMAX.
night to go see Fast 10
Which was
in
a-
IMAX.
There you
Which
go.
was
I'm planning on seeing
It was a
tomorrow.
big choice because
Nice.
it was a big choice.
There's the
because
Alamo
I
Draft
was-
House, which does have a good big
There's the Alamo
screen,
Draft
and it has a
House,
lot of
which does have a
food, and I
good
wanted to
big
go there so
screen,
I could
and it has a
order
lot of
food,
food,
snack
and
my
I
way
wanted to
through the
go there
movie
so I
like
could order
Han.
food and snack my way through the movie.
Right.
Like Han.
Have a Corona, yeah, and
But then
some,
I'm like,
and
no,
some snacks,
I
right?
really
Yep.
want to make this
Then
hot
I'm like,
IMAX
no,
summer.
truly.
I really
Every
want to
movie
make
that
this
is
hot
available in
IMAX
IMAX,
summer.
I want to
Truly.
see
every
in
movie that is
IMAX.
available in
And if I
IMAX,
can
I want to
see
see
it
it
like
in IMAX.
the legit,
and if I can
like,
see it at
laser
like
IMAX that is at our
legit,
science center.
laser IMAX
And it's a
that
dome,
is at our
Kyle.
science
This ain't
center.
flat. It's a
And
dome.
it's a dome, Kyle.
You look
This
up
ain't
at the
flat.
movie.
It's
It
a
curves
dome.
over you. It
You look
surrounds
up at
you.
the
It
movie. It
envelops
curves
you.
over you. It surrounds you. It envelops you. They get some
That sounds
blockbusters,
awesome.
but not everything.
They
that's
get
released
some
in IMAX
blockbusters,
goes
but not
there. I know
everything
they're
that's released in
going
IMAX goes there.
Like
I
last
know
year, they
they're
had
going
Maverick,
to- which I regret not.
like
going to
last
go
year, they had
see.
Maverick,
had
which I regret not going to go
Forever.
see. They had
Next week they're
Wakanda
going to have
Forever.
Little Mermaid.
Mhm.
I'm hoping
Next
they're going
week
to get a
they're going to
Mission
have
Impossible
Little
or an
Mermaid. I'm
Oppenheimer.
hoping they're going to get a
Oppenheimer,
Mission
full of
Impossible
science.
or an
Science is that
Oppenheimer.
man's middle name.
Oppenheimer, full of
Robert
science. Science is that
Oppenheimer.
man's middle name.
I hope he'll
Robert
be there.
Science
I can see him at
Oppenheimer.
the Science Center.
I hope he'll
Get a
be
little
there. I
exhibit
can see
or
him at the
something,
Science
little
Center.
standee
Get a little
poster
exhibit or
board,
something.
here are
Little
Oppenheimer
Right.
standee poster board. Here are Oppenheimer facts. But yeah, everything I can see, I'm going to see.
That
Yeah,
sounds
everything I
fun.
can see, I'm
I
going
did
to see.
go to the Science
Yeah.
Center over the weekend.
I did
and
go to the
next where
Science Center
theater is,
over the
they had a
weekend,
display
and
of
next to where the
literal
theater
IMAX
is, they
film.
had a display of
And I just
literal
watched a
IMAX
YouTube
film.
video about this.
And I just watched a
It was
video,
perfect,
a
but then I
YouTube video about
saw it in the
this.
video, and then
So it was
immediately the
perfect,
next
but then
day
I
got to see it.
saw it in the video, and then immediately
So
the next day got to
35
see it in
millimeter
real
film
life.
is like
So
it's
35
like when you
millimeter
picture when you
film
picture
is
like a
like
film strip.
It's like when you
maybe
picture
like
when
an
you
inch
picture
wide.
like a film strip.
Right.
It's like maybe
Yeah,
like
like an
and then
inch
it's
wide.
got
a couple example frames of all
and
these
then it's
different film
got
strips.
a
Like,
couple
here's
example
35,
frames of all these
and then
different
here's
film strips.
70.
Like here's 35.
IMAX.
And here's 70.
IMAX film strips.
IMAX.
A single frame
IMAX
of
film
IMAX
strips.
film
A
is
single
like this big.
frame
It's
of
like
IMAX film
a
is like
wallet
this big.
school
It's like
photo.
a
The
wallet,
little wallet-sized
school
ones
photo.
you give to your dad.
Yeah.
To
The little
put in his
wallet-sized
and
ones
show
you
his
give to
buds.
your
Like,
dad.
That's my girl.
To put in his
That's
wallet and
how
show his
big
buds.
an
Like, that's my
IMAX
girl.
frame is.
That's how big an IMAX frame is.
That's my IMAX. Yeah, I've like known that in theory, just from having gone through art school and taking
Yeah.
some film classes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the different sizes of like 16. Like I've shot like a 16 millimeter footage on one of those little like crank cameras and stuff like that. So they're fun to use. But yeah, we always had that like chart of like, this is how big the 16 one, this is how big this is how big the IMAX one is. And it's just like, oh, so it's like 4 times the size of like a normal. That's why it's so big and they can get so much detail. But that's neat. I've never like actually seen it in real life.
The platters, that's cool. The like reel of IMAX films, it's the like reel of IMAX wingspan or bigger. It's like
as big as my wingspan or bigger.
That's
reel.
Awesome.
There's got a label on it. Like, yeah, that was Top Gun Maverick.
It's got a label on it. Like, yeah, that was Top Gun Maverick.
The average 2-hour IMAX movie is 7.5 miles of film.
7.5 miles of film.
These details boggle me. I love it.
Interesting.
These details boggle me. I love it.
I can go.
That's so cool. Then they get those facts of like, well, using that math, if we stretch an IMAX film from Earth to the moon, it would be a movie that's this long, right? That's like
if you put every
long.
Christopher Nolan,
if you put every Christopher Nolan
films film, how far into space does that take?
Strips of film, how far into space does that take you?
Exactly. That'd be fun. That'd be interesting to know. That's cool. Yeah, we had the option to do the Fast X in IMAX. I don't know if that's the one I want to see in IMAX. There's a few things coming out that I think would be good, like Mission Impossible. I think that one would be incredible on IMAX. But I also thought of like, well, what if we go see Fast X in 4DX? Because that would also just be a big dumb thing.
Does
with
sound
that one.
fun.
I think
sound
we're just
fun.
Gonna go to our regular.
However you see it is great.
Theater.
There's a new theater that opened up in my. There's a new theater that opened up in my neighborhood. Like it used to be. It was for my whole lifetime. It was like one of the first.
It was for my whole lifetime. It was like one of the first dine-in.
And then it closed like everything during lockdown, and then it never opened
like everything during lockdown,
and it never opened back up again.
Partially because there's another AMC theater not far away on the same street. Bogglingly enough.
And if you were trapped inside, you would always dine in.
But it is now reopened as a B&B.
But it is now reopened as a B&B
Midwestern chain, I suppose. I don't know if you've got a
Midwestern chain, I suppose. I don't know if you've got a B&B out there.
I've never been to one before. I was so jazzed.
I've never been to one before. I was so jazzed to see,
but I think it's so new that hardly anybody knows.
But I think it's so new that hardly anybody knows yet
because the Friday night
Fast X
I'm like,
screening
I really
want to
see what this theater is, but I
really want to see what this theater is, but I need a packed house for this experience.
Interesting. Yeah. New movie.
It's literally what I dream about.
Well,
it's literally what I dream about.
I have dreams when I find a new movie.
I have dreams where I find a new movie theater
in my area that I've never seen before.
Good stuff. Well, we've talked a bunch about movies, so I have a little bit more movie news. Melissa, I am making this a bit. Anytime it happens, I'm making a huge deal out of it. We got more Beetlejuice news, more Beetlejuice 2 news. I'm so excited. I think it's just really funny.
We got to get something on the Stream Deck.
Something on the Stream Deck.
Right, we need.
You have to hit it.
Button.
Yeah,
it's like it's showtime, baby. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got more Beetlejuice 2 news, more casting announcements. Willem Dafoe has joined the cast as an afterlife law enforcement officer. He's going to be some police officer in the afterlife there, which I guess implies that we might find out a little bit more about the bureaucracy of that, that afterlife institution.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it exactly.
Yeah. I feel like if you look at Willem Dafoe, and in my mind's eye, I remember Juno,
and in my
the
mind's
caseworker.
eye, I remember Juno, the caseworker.
He could be son of Juno.
He could be a relation. He could be son of Juno.
Sure, yeah. or like the dude that's always like the case worker, and he's always there like hitting on her and stuff like that. Who knows? I don't know. Monica Bellucci has also joined the cast as Beetlejuice's wife. His ghoulish wife.
Nice to hear he doesn't have a normal mundane. Nice to hear he doesn't have a normal mundane wife.
Right. But yeah, so he has a wife. Did he mention her in the first one?
Maybe he.
Do we know?
I don't know. Maybe he made some joke about an ex. I don't know. Maybe he made some joke about an not a married man. Something like that. But Beetlejuice is not a married man. Maybe he tries to marry bigamy. I don't know his rules. Maybe he's okay with bigamy. I don't know his rules.
Maybe he gets married after. Like I've gone clean. I've gone straight.
I'm really happy for 2 years. I'm really happy for 2 years of you doing a Beetlejuice voice every time this comes up.
That could be an interesting thing. Like it might even be, like he's gone straight, and they're trying to they need him back for some reason. They need him to scare someone.
Can do this.
Only Beetlejuice could do this. Yeah, and he has to get into his old habits. But yeah, Monica Bellucci has joined the cast. And last but not least, Justin Theroux has joined the cast.
Lovely.
I don't know what his role will be. But we
handsome
got to,
man.
Right? Yeah. We got to watch him in The Leftovers over on the review show when we covered that. And then I also saw that Catherine O'Hara would be returning. So,
one of my favorite characters in fiction. I can't wait to see what she's sculpted in fiction. I can't wait to see what she's sculpted now.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I just think it's so funny because I'm excited, but I'm not like, Beetlejuice is my favorite movie, man. Like, we need to go see this hot IMAX summer starts with Beetlejuice. It's not that at all. I just think it's funny that I want to annoy Melissa with how much I mentioned. That's my goal. And you're just like, another Beetlejuice
now
segment.
We have a new set photo. And now we have a new set photo. And second angle. Delia from a second angle. You're just going to be doing a whole JFK on this. You're going to be doing a whole JFK on this. Showing me differences in angles. Backwards and forwards.
Melissa, you might like her outfit, but there was a second shooter over here, right? It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a blast, and then when we finally go watch it, it's just gonna be so fun. But there you go. With that, I don't have anything else to say on Beetlejuice 2 except that is the news that we got there. Alyssa, do you have any other thoughts that you want to add on to
this
that?
Is a nice segue into a little news blurb. This is a nice segue into a little news blurb I threw in the document. Just in the vein of horror. Just in the vein of it was horror and big soft quotation marks for Beetlejuice. It was horror and big soft quotation marks for Beetlejuice.
Peacock is going to have a Friday the 13th. Peacock is going to have a Friday the 13th
developed by Brian Fuller, which I bring up because while I know you know nothing about, which I bring up because while I know you know nothing about Friday the 13th, and you're a little horror. We have watched several Brian Fuller projects.
We have watched several
Brian Fuller projects across our podcasts.
Yeah. I vaguely remember them announcing this. But that like you said, I'm just not a horror fan, so I just didn't pay attention at all. But yeah, a Crystal Lake. It's called Crystal Lake. Brian Fuller doing it. Their little headline says from A24. And writer, showrunner,
I don't know if A24 has done TV. I don't know if A24 has done TV previously, or if this would be their first foray.
Ooh, I don't know. That's interesting.
I mean, I'm looking at the
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at that little article from Peacock, and I'm looking at that little article from Peacock, and it doesn't say in their first foray into television. So I don't know. Maybe it's not. If it was, I imagine they would say it. So I don't know. Maybe it's not. If it was, I imagine they would say it.
Yeah, I'm looking even down at the bottom. I don't think it mentions if this is their first time. But to be clear, this is not a new announcement. That they've announced this. This was announced back in I'm gonna say end of October, because this article itself is from November.
Oh my God.
1st.
I had a friend just send this to me today, so I thought it was. I had a friend just send this to me today, so I thought it was news.
No, I mean it's news to us though, right?
We haven't
talked about it.
We haven't.
That is the thing, that I was trying to mention is that, I vaguely remember them announcing this. I just didn't pay attention. So Brian Fuller doing it is interesting because he always has some, interesting takes on what it's going to be. I don't think this is just going to be, it's a straight prequel, right? He always has some interesting way of thinking about it.
Yes.
Or, theme that he's introducing into the thing.
Yeah.
Into his
I've
show.
heard him as a guest several times. I've heard him as a guest several times on a Stephen King. Very insightful. I listen to very eloquent. Very insightful. I trust his hands to tell a horror story.
That's cool.
I trust his hands to tell a horror story like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because we even did on our Patreon exclusive show, we did his
Monsters.
What was it? 13 something?
Yes, it was called Mockingbird Lane. It was a monster.
Yes,
it was called Mockingbird Lane. It was a Monsters adaptation.
Okay, so there's not numbers, but yeah, even that, even though that show never really made it off the ground, there was some interesting threads that he was pulling on, of just I see how he got here, or I see how this is in a version of this thing, right? It was neat for sure. Sure. Well, that being said, I say we take a quick break for some housekeeping. And when we come back, we got some more TV news. We got some Eisner Award nominations. And a trailer reaction, a new Mission Impossible trailer reaction to get to, which I'm excited about. So we will be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes.
Yes.
And at our $3 tier,
yeah, that'll be nice.
A Patreon-exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout-out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us.
Okay.
You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It means a ton. Our Patreon exclusive podcast this month, we got to talk about the pilot for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Some Marvel cartoon action happening here at the Whatnauts. I really enjoyed Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. You guys can go watch that all on Disney Plus. But over on the review show, we also got to talk about the Spectacular Spider-Man. We watched the entirety of the Spectacular Spider-Man, all 26 episodes. I really enjoyed that cartoon as well. That one was sadly canceled, before they could wrap everything up. There's some cliffhangers at the end there, but it's still a really good Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
Show.
There's a lot in it. You meet a lot of characters. There's a lot in it. All the classics you meet a lot of characters. All the classics are there.
Yeah, you have a great selection of Spider-Man's rogues gallery. Some big names you know, some smaller ones you don't. Or you might if you're a big Spider-Man fan and you even know the smaller ones like Fancy Dan, right? Yeah, there's an actual Spider-Man villain named Fancy Dan. So good stuff with that. Over on the Reactor Core, Melissa, you and I have been covering the Yellow Jackets Season 2. We've done episode 5 and 6, and this weekend we will be recording our reactions to 7 and 8. We're getting close to the end of the season here with that. So
not to say more about it, but the end of episode 7 was somehow even end of episode 7 was somehow even more haunting for me than the end of episode 6.
You
haven't watched episode 7 yet?
Watched it yet, so
okay, all right.
7 yet?
All right. Yet.
Now I hope I'm not over talking it. All right. Now I hope I'm not over talking it.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. We also have a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spoiler cast. If you guys went to go see that movie, we spend an hour and 45 minutes-ish talking about that movie.
Lot of time.
Go check it out. We had a blast. That was fun. And then last but not least, right here on the Captain's Log, last week, if you missed out, Melissa, you brought a great question to the table of when did you stop playing with toys? Like, not just like buying collectibles and displaying them, but when did you stop actually playing with them? Sitting down, making them kiss and make out or fight or marry each other, who knows what, or mix and matching them like Sid. Strapping them to bottle rockets and stuff.
These are the things you can do with toys. They can kiss.
These are the things you can do with toys.
They can absorb each other. They can fight. They can absorb each other.
Exactly. So we had some fun with that. But speaking of the Captain's Log, it's looking like if everything goes according to plan, here at the end of the month, we will have Ignacio Rojas on the show. If you guys watch some of our like Star Wars reactions over on the Reactor Core, some of our trailer reactions, he is one of our hosts on that. He is one of the hosts of our former video game show Crossplay. And he will be coming on to the show to help revive I always want to call it a tradition. I think we only really did it like twice. Before we had crossplay, and then we tried it once with crossplay, and we had a lot of people on that one. But anyways, Melissa is graciously using her skills as a magic 8-ball for myself and Ignacio to make some Summer Game Fest predictions. So be on the lookout for that, because that's going to be a lot of fun. I know there is the PlayStation Showcase is actually happening before we'll get to record that episode. So I guess that's now technically marking the start of Summer Game Fest, kind of. But Summer Game Fest is happening at the start of next month through the next like 2 weeks or so. After that, there'll be some stragglers after that, but lots of video games, announcements and trailers and all sorts of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And we get to make some wacky predictions on that, which will be exciting. So, good stuff. I guess last but not least on the housekeeping stuff, also get excited because earlier in the year in our Planorama episode, we mentioned a Father's Day fantasy draft, which again, if everything goes according to plan, should be happening the week that Father's Day is happening. So in about a month-ish is when that will be taking place. So get excited.
I believe we're all going to draft. We're I believe we're all going to draft. But the conceit is that the dads are all dadding us together. The conceit is that the dads are all dadding us together. Maybe you can be like, they don't have to literally be your dad. This is a trusted neighbor. This is my favorite teacher. This is a trusted neighbor. This is my favorite teacher. But they're all in a fatherly role to you, and they have to cooperate with each other.
Exactly. You could have Professor Utonium. You could have the guy from those Nationwide commercials. He seems like a good dad, right? You could have whoever you want. Just right. If you think of them like they'd be a good dad.
Yes. Right. They don't have to be a dad. They don't have to be male. They don't have to be a dad. They don't have to be male. They can be anybody or anything that you want to be in a fatherly role to you.
Exactly. So there you go. Get excited for all of that. But that's about housekeeping for now. Let's stick with the rest of this TV news here. Well, should we do the Eisner nominees now and then do TV stuff after to roll into Dead Reckoning, or should we do the rest of our TV stuff now?
It's up to you. I don't have a lot of context. I don't have a lot of context for the Eisner Awards. As I glance over the page, as I glance over the page that I recognize, we got some review show classics. That I recognize. We got some review show classics. James Tinney and the Fourth Chip. Tom King, James Tinney and the Fourth
essentially
Chip.
What. Let's jump right into the Eisners, because this is exactly what I just wanted to do, is just pull out a few highlights and stuff, some names that we've seen before. So yeah, if you are not familiar with the Eisner Awards, they are like the comic book awards, best writer, best colorist, best letterer, all of that good stuff, best short story. And Comic-Con got to announce them as they do every year. These are just the nominations of people who have been nominated. So yeah, I wanted to pull out a few highlights, just kind of go through these and see some of them here. Let me see if I pull this up on screen and zoom in. There we go. I think we can get some of these on screen. So yeah, just right off the top here, best short story. One I want to mention is Finding Batman by the late Kevin Conroy. He did a short story in DC Pride 2022, just about him being a gay man and struggling with his identity, and then finding the role of Batman and how that shaped him as an actor and his future and stuff like that. So he got nominated for best short story.
Yeah.
Christopher Cantwell also got nominated for best short story. Review show alum, Halt and Catch Fire, as well as those Doctor Doom comics that we read. Good. He has a story called Good Morning in Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, #4, which I have not been reading those Moon Knight things. I did not know he had this in there, but there you go. He has a short Moon Knight story that
I'm intrigued that one of the other short story nominees. I'm intrigued that one of the other short story nominees is a comic Margaret Tori Amos Little Earthquakes. Is there a Tori Amos Little Earthquakes? Is there a Tori Amos comic series?
The publisher is Z2. I'm not super familiar with them. So I don't know anything about that, but I guess there is Tori Amos.
Yes. Okay. Back here in Best Anthology, that is a back here in Best Anthology, that is a graphic album. One of the other things nominated for Best Anthology. One of the other things nominated for Best Anthology is the Illustrated Al. And I'm upset. This is the first I'm hearing of this. And I'm upset. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
There you go. Okay, Best Anthology. Yeah. The Illustrated Al. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of those at all. Creepshow, edited by Alex Antone and John Moison. I believe, on Image and Skybound. There you go, all that stuff.
Yeah,
let me scroll back up here.
I'm
a little
seeing
bit.
that best continuing series. I'm seeing that best continuing series between James Tinney in the fourth, and James fight between James Tinney in the fourth, and James Tinney in the fourth. That's a total of 8 James Tinney. That's a total of 8 James Tinnians.
James Tinney in the eighth. Yeah, we got The Department of Truth by James Tinian and Martin Simmons.
You've mentioned it.
I love that book. That book is terrifying. Yeah, and it is great. He also has on here Nice House on the Lake, which I have yet to read, but I have heard great things about. That's James Tinian and James Tinian the Fourth and Alvaro Martinez Bueno over at DC Comics. We got Nightwing by Tom Taylor. That one's a great one. Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. That one's also fantastic.
In limited series, I see there's that Tom King series. I see there's that Tom King series. The Human Target. You've told me about. You promised mid-century advertising style mid-century advertising style illustrations.
Yep, awesome stuff. Superman Space Age by Mark Russell, who wrote the Flintstones comics that we recently covered. And with Mike and Laura Allred on the artwork for that. Yeah, some really cool stuff. Best new series, Love Everlasting by Tom King and Elsa Chartier. I just bought the first volume of that on Free Comic Book Day. Public Domain by Chip Zdarsky. I've heard good things about that, but I don't know exactly what it is. It's something about public domain heroes and character. I think it's I'm speculating, so I don't know. Like, I don't think he's using characters that are in the public domain. I think it's something. There's like a meta layer of like vigilantes can be a superhero or a vigilante, but after a while their identity goes into the public domain.
So 100 years after Batman was around, nobody can stop anybody from being Batman. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Could be completely wrong, but yeah, I've heard really good things.
I think the Star Trek series here under Best New Series, Star Trek series here under Best New Series, I remember that might be the one about it on an interview and said, I remember he talked about it on an interview. It's just plain old Star Trek with no hyphen and no colon. It's just plain old Star Trek with no hyphen and no colon. Canonical Star Trek. It's just regular comics canonical Star Trek. We're not in a side universe over here.
I gotcha. Yeah, he did that Free Comic Book Day short story thing. Let's see here. Let's go down the list. Best humor publication. Anything I recognize here? Nothing I recognize here. I Hate This Place by Kyle Starks and Artyom Topilin, I believe. I hope I said those names right. On Image and Skybound. Killer Queens by David Bohr and Claudia Balboni on Dark Horse. Let's see. Best reality-based work. Interesting. Let's see what they have here. Pinball, A Graphic History of the Silver Ball by John Chad. That's cool. Let's see. Flung Out of Space. I don't really know what that is. Alfred Hitchcock, The Master of Suspense. There you go. Let's see here. Best adaptation for another medium. Let's see if we get this up on screen here. Yeah. Chivalry by Neil Gaiman, adapted by Colleen Duran. There you go. Rain by Joe Hill, adapted by David M. Boer and Zoe Thurgood. Again, here's that Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, the graphic album. That one's getting a number of things. I guess people really enjoyed that. Lots of good stuff here. Let's see. Here we go. We got Best Writer. Grace Ellis for Flung Out of Space that I just mentioned. Tom King for Batman Killing Time, Batman One Bad Day, Gotham City Year One, The Human Target, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Love Everlasting. Mark Russell for Traveling to Mars, One Star Squadron, Superman Space Age, The In-Call, Psychoverse. James Tinian for House of Slaughter, Something is Killing the Children, Wind, The Nice House on the Lake, The Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, The Closet, and The Department of Truth. And Chip Zdarsky for Still Water and Daredevil. Lots of good names there. Best writer artist combo, or I guess all in one. Zoe Thurgood for It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth. Junji Ito for Black Paradox and Liminal Zone. We talked about the new Viz manga app here on the show. That Black Paradox is on that app. So you guys can go check it out, and I think it's still on going. So you can check that one out there. Let's see. Best cover artist, Jen Bartel for She-Hulk. I have to second that one. That one has been great. Alex Ross for Astro City. That was then Fantastic Four. His covers for Fantastic Four has been fantastic.
I wish this list included visuals. I already closed out of the tab because I reached the limits of my context. I already closed out of the tab because I reached the limits of my context. But if they had pictures, to know things about comics, that would be a great hook for me. That would be a great hook for me.
You've seen Alex Ross's artwork, even if
I know it.
I've seen it
and I know it. I've seen it and I know it.
That's meant for you and for anyone listening. You've seen his artwork, whether you know it or not. And he completely did just a different style for these Fantastic Four covers, and they are awesome. They're so cool. They're like brightly colored and like very vivid and neon and stuff like this. And it's not his like stoic, statuesque, like harsh lighting stuff that he normally does. It's really neat. Best coloring, Jordi Belair. That one's
that is a name I know.
There in that list, she does some awesome stuff.
That is a name I know.
Yep. Dave McCaig for the In-Call Psychoverse. Alex Ross and Josh Johnson for the Fantastic Four Full Circle. Diana Souza for Critical Role, Vox Machina Origins, etc., etc. Cool. Yeah, I mean, just lots of interesting things here in these. If you're interested in comics at all, I recommend checking this list out to potentially find some new things to read. Go see what their best graphic novels are or stuff like that. They have a best web comics section here if you want stuff like that. So all sorts of stuff.
It is a helpful resource, especially for us. It is a helpful resource, especially for us. I've given you movies that were nominated. Here are three movies that were nominated for best leading actress. I'd be like, all right, here's three. I could go here and be like, all right, here's three best Eisner nominees from this year for best graphic novel. You can find a title and go look it up and dig into some stuff. You can find a title and go look it up and dig into some stuff. We haven't gotten as much into like old comics history. We haven't gotten as much into like old comics history. We don't have to do it a lot, but I want to do at least one week. Here's Little Nemo and Slumberland. We said years ago we ought to do a 10-10. We said years ago we ought to do a 10-10. We never did.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, get some Tintin in there. I like what we did when we went back and did like the first 10 issues of Fantastic Four.
I did like that.
Like, let's read the first 10 issues of Spider-Man, or let's go read the first 10 issues of Batman that were ever made. Something like that would also be fun too. But We could also dig into like the news paper strips stuff. Like,
Kyle, I have thought about pitching you an episode on Garfield. Pitching you an episode on like Garfield. You go to a thrift store. We're like, you go to a thrift store because I'm sure they have one. Any Garfield book they have because I'm sure they have one. I go get one. It doesn't have to be the same Garfield. I just want a bunch of Garfield and then come back here and describe Garfield and then come back here and describe them to each other.
We'd have to record that one on Monday, though. We normally record on Sundays for the review show. We'd have to record that one on Mondays. Fun stuff. Let's get into a little bit more TV news here. We're gonna wrap stuff up, and then we'll go into our Dead Reckoning trailer reaction at the end here. If you did not know, the situation with Hulu might be changing in the near future. So Disney, so if you did not know, Hulu had kind of always been owned by multiple companies as cable first started to go downhill and like Netflix's streaming service first started to rise up. They made Hulu as a way to kind of compete and in like a digital age bring TV to that, right? Where you could watch
That's what I remember the branding was at the beginning. That's what I remember the branding was at the beginning. Like, I don't know if they had anything original. Are you tired of dealing with the just ABC? Are you tired of dealing with the website? Just come here. Just come here now. Website. Just come here. You can watch. Just come here now. We've got one platform. Stuff on other networks. Lost. Yeah.
All of the
stuff on other networks.
Yeah. And they might not have the full back season. Right, but they might have like the most recent 3, so you could kind of catch up and stuff like that, which was always a neat thing. But eventually Disney kind of bought out a bunch of the other people. They currently own the majority share, about 66%. However, that last third was technically offered to them, is going to them, but there was kind of this like grace period for like, hey, if any other companies want to step in and hold this minority share, now's your chance. And that kind of grace period is almost done, and it doesn't look like anyone is going to make a move, which means that Disney will officially own 100% of Hulu. And from everything that's being said so far, it seems like they plan to basically get rid of it and move everything into Disney Plus, or move a lot of stuff into Disney Plus. They also had some article I saw this week that Disney Plus is about to start taking stuff off of their service. Which always sucks. That's not what the initial idea of these streaming services was. It was like, I pay and I can get access to your whole catalog. But so they are planning on melding them into one thing. Who knows if it'll be called Max Plus or something else, right? Who knows? But there is that. Marvel news. We got some interesting Marvel news this week, Melissa. I am not gonna say his name right. I apologize, but Chiwetel Ejiofor. Is that how you say it?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay. I don't know how to say it exactly. I apologize, but he's the actor that plays Baron Mordo in the Doctor Strange movies, has joined the
among
cast
many
of
other
Venom
incredible
3.
credits. Among many other incredible credits. Serenity, always happy to see him. Many things.
Sure.
Always happy to see him.
But in like the Marvel wheelhouse, he's the actor that plays Baron Mordo. So it's interesting that he's joining Venom 3. They haven't said who he's playing. It's an unknown role yet, so I don't think he's playing Baron Mordo, but he could, which would be interesting. Here's
last time we saw him in the main. Last time we saw him in the main line. He kills 616 MCU or like takes away his leg power. Benjamin Bratt or like takes away his leg power.
And he's like,
and he says,
"Code,
what he says is too many sorcerers." Code, what he says, it doesn't make sense for him to go over to the Sony. So like, it doesn't make sense for him to go over where there are 0 sorcerers. Unless he's been there for a while, and he's been doing such a good job for a while, and he's been doing such a good job. There's no sorcerers because he took care of them all. There's no sorcerers because he took care of them all. He's already been working so hard.
There's a couple ways that this could go. Yeah, that he has the same plan over in that universe, and he's been working so hard. Somehow Venom gets infused with magic, and he now has to go kill Venom. Right? No, I'm just
too many Venoms.
Which is also the case, is that there is a little bit of that symbiote now in the Spider-Man MCU stuff over there. So is this Venom 3? Like, which universe is this Venom taking place in? Is there an Eddie Brock in the MCU? And that symbiote goes to find that version of Tom Hardy to go be Venom over there, right? Like, there's some interesting things that you could speculate or think of, but I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I think he's just gonna be some other character.
Very romantic. The idea that in every universe, the symbiote has to go find that Eddie Brock.
Right. Yeah.
Can only be Eddie Brock.
I mean, that can be a thing too, right? Like he knows, like, Eddie Brock. I must find Eddie Brock, right? And he just is wandering around San Francisco being like, Eddie!
I think Chiwetel Ejiofor would be great at being another strong performer. I'd love to see him being Goo that yells at himself. I'd love to see him being Goo that yells at himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, with the stuff that happened in Venom 2, they could really, like, honestly do anything they want, not because I think that franchise has the cachet, but because I think they just don't give a fuck. Venom 2 was a mess. That movie was all over the place.
I had so much fun with Venom 2. I think that movie's so much fun with Venom 2. I think that movie's got a good spirit.
I liked Morbius.
Venom doesn't deserve this. Venom works very hard. Venom doesn't deserve this. Venom works very hard.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if he's playing like an alternate reality version of Baron Mordo, or is Baron Mordo the one we know from the MCU, or if he's someone new. But I thought that was interesting, and he's a good actor. So I'm looking forward to see what he does in Venom 3.
Yes.
We got some news about Loki. Season 2.
Yes.
We got a release date, October 6th, 2023.
Spooky.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be interesting. I think there's some details about this that might still be in the air, especially with things like the writer's strike. I'm assuming they have everything written for this already, but I don't know. Also, everything happening with Jonathan Majors right now is, I don't know enough to say one way or another what's happening exactly with all of that, but I know he's in some deep legal issues right now, some sexual assault charges and stuff. And there has been talk of, like, are they gonna recast Kang to do all of this? I don't know. I don't think they are, but we know that one of the Kang variants will be in that show. So there's some details to keep in mind with that release date in case it needs to be delayed or something. But I'm excited for Loki season 2. Hell yeah.
First season 2 that any of these shows have had. First season 2 that any of these shows have had yet. So that will be interesting.
Yeah. that is going to be interesting just to see how that plays and what it goes on to lead into, or stuff that will spin out of that. Who knows? But I'm glad that some of these shows are not just doing the one and done thing. Speaking of one and done, Echo season 1, which is the spin-off of the Hawkeye show, is releasing on November 29th, 2023. And they're dropping all at once. It's not a weekly thing.
Do we know how much?
Yeah,
do we know how much
shorter show there is? Is it a shorter show?
I don't.
You have to go
googling it.
I was just wondering.
You have to go
googling it. I was just wondering if this has been brought up recently. The length of the series.
I'm assuming it's going to be 6 episodes. Yeah, let's see. Well, can I get another more reputable site here? See if they say something. I just did see something that said all 6 of them will be dropping.
Okay.
On that
sounds right. 6 episodes. A lot of them have been.
I think Hawkeye was 6 episodes. A lot of them have been 6 episodes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna assume 6. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that they're dropping them all at once, which I don't know. Like that is making me wonder and speculate of the reason for that. Like, is there something like I saw some people talking about like stuff like Loki, like that has the cachet to, right? Like a week to week. This is appointment television. You're going to want to talk about this week to week. But Echo is a much more niche character that might not like, right. It's not like the next Game of Thrones or something like that they might find better success with just dropping them all at once and having people watch it on their own time. So yeah, we'll see, which I think that makes sense. But there's also the take of like, what if there's something important
we don't know
in there and you just want everyone to like watch it all at once, right?
I guess it makes sense. As an experiment,
I guess
we've
it makes
released
sense
everything else week to week.
As an experiment, we've released everything else week to week.
What happens? Are our numbers or statistics? Are our numbers or statistics any different? So we'll see.
I like having that in the playbook of a streaming service. That some of them, like, this is our hit show, right? This is our fall or our Q whatever number show. And it's week to week. Like, you want to be there for that. But then there's some smaller stuff that's like, and they're all out
or like
now.
We drop
3.
Or like we drop on the first week and then one a week after that.
And on the first week and then one a week after that. Or we take
streaming is truly a format and a schedule.
Streaming is truly a format and a schedule. You can mold to your own
needs and anything can happen.
Absolutely. So yeah, like I think that's all the Marvel news that we got coming out this week. But some exciting stuff down the road for sure. Here we go. Okay, let me start pulling things up here for Mission Impossible.
Yes.
I'm excited for this.
Me too.
We did a trailer reaction for the like very first teaser that they ever put out. Way back in the day. Here, let me see. Pause. Okay, thank you, YouTube. I hate when YouTube does the thing where you like move the thing back and let go and it just starts again. It's like, no, stay there. I want you to stay right there. All right, so that is good to go. Let me make this full screen over there, and then let me switch everything here on our podcast to the Reactor Core stuff. The cameras will probably freeze for a sec, but don't be alarmed. That is normal. So yeah, cameras are frozen at the moment. I have my eyelids shut on that picture, which is great, but we're back now. Cool. So I will go ahead and kick things off, and then we can wrap up the podcast with this. Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson for a brand new trailer reaction for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
This is our mission.
Part 1.
We chose to accept it. This is our mission.
Yes.
We chose to accept it.
We sure did. Hopefully this won't self-destruct after.
Everybody else has made this joke. We know that everybody else has made this joke. We know that if you're into this trailer, you've heard 5 people make this joke today. So thank you for your patience. 5 people make this joke today. So thank you for your patience.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm super stoked about this movie. We did a reaction to the first teaser trailer way back when they did that. But Melissa, you've been talking about hot IMAX summer. You're like, I'm going to go see all the movies I can in IMAX. And I think this is going to be a great one for that. We covered all of the Mission Impossible movies over on one of our other podcasts, the review show. And when we got to Mission Impossible Fallout, I'm still upset at myself that I did not go see that in theaters. That movie was so good, and I'm excited for Dead Reckoning Part 1 here.
I've got my tickets to go see Fast 10 in IMAX. I've got my tickets to go see Fast 10 in IMAX this Friday. I have a very good chance of now seeing this trailer. I have a very good chance of now seeing this trailer in the IMAX theater. I've enjoyed the initial teaser we got for Dead Reckoning. I've enjoyed the initial teaser. Wonderful visuals. Good to see our friends again. Wonderful visuals. Good to see our friends again. But I'm excited for this one to get a little bit more meat. But I'm excited for this one to get a little bit more meat. This is 2.5 minutes long. Bones. Solid length. This is 2.5 minutes long. We will have solid length of a trailer. We will have details.
Indeed. All right. Let me pull this up on screen so we can get started. I'm going to count down from 3, and then I'll hit play as we normally do. 3, 2, 1, play.
There he goes.
Our lives.
There he goes.
Akira slide.
Some of our choices.
Somewhere tall. Somewhere tall.
And we cannot escape the past.
Unlike Tom Cruise himself.
Ethan.
Oh man, I have my whole thing.
That's what you get for mocking his height, Kyle. This is karma. That's what you get for mocking his height, Kyle. This is karma.
Right? Yeah. That's what I get. They knew.
I hope in this movie he climbs the Paramount Mountain. I hope in this movie he climbs the Paramount Mountain.
Right. The eye patch lady very much looked like some Metal Gear Solid style influence.
You've no idea the power I represent. It knows your story and how it ends.
Yeah.
Listen to me. The world's coming after you.
It does.
Big.
We're going to a lot of different places. We're going to a lot of different places.
It is only a part 1.
I won't go to kill you. That is written.
Look at Tom go. He's really cruising. There he goes. Yeah, that would be an amazing IMAX shot right there.
Sand. So many candles. A train? So many candles. A train? I'd be so happy with any individual one of these elements. I'd be so happy with any individual one of these elements.
Right.
Luther.
Ah, we're back at the place from John Wick.
None of our lives can matter more than this mission.
I don't accept that.
Wow, he doesn't accept it. He did not choose. Ooh.
Loving this train stuff. Loving this train stuff.
Oh no, Thomas.
What is this image of the eye thing?
Thomas, the
I
tank
love this
engine.
image of the eye thing. I love this image. What does it mean?
I have no idea. Man, that looked awesome. I'm replaying it right now as we're talking. They had an image later on in the thing where someone tossed up like a smoke grenade and it was green, and there was someone sitting in a chair like right above where it went off, and you just see their head like snap back at his. It exploded. It looks so good. This to me feels big. And I like that. I like that this is a story that is not going to be contained within one movie, right? And that I think allows for them to explore a little bit, get a little more in depth, have like, I mean, we see a bunch of all these set pieces all over. There's going to be a lot happening. But yeah, man, I'm excited for sure. Now, did they film these back to back, right?
I want to say so.
I think they did, or they're going to, because I know when he released when he like Tom is the only one that's
it's a whole team
tirelessly to make this entire
it's a whole team,
right? When they released that teaser, I think they were working on it. There was another thing I remember from Twitter that he was up in some like helicopter being like, hey, thanks for being patient. We're working on it here, you know, all that stuff. So I think
that
they filmed these back
that
to
makes
back.
sense. That tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered
remembered more specific details about
I wish I remembered more specific
these
details
series
of movies together for
You and
another
I
episode of
watched
one of
these
our
series
other
of movies
podcasts,
together
but
for
that
another
was in,
episode
like,
of one of our other podcasts. But
that
that
was in,
like January 2019,
winter,
like a
years
while
ago.
ago.
January
2019,
like a while ago.
I'm really hoping rewatching these
one of my
movies
local
soon.
theaters
I'm really
is
hoping
going to
put them back.
one of my
into
local
rotation,
theaters
like,
is going to
in
put them back
anticipation of
into
the
rotation.
sequel.
Like I
in
know
anticipation
one
of
of my
the
local
sequel.
chains did something
Like
like
I
that
know
for Fast and Furious.
one of my local
which
chains
is
did
more
something like that
movies.
for Fast and
You only
Furious.
have to show me 6.
Which is more
for the Mission
movies.
Impossibles.
You only have to show me
Not even all of them.
6
You
for
can
the
really
Mission
start at like
Impossibles.
3 or
Not even
4
all
and
of
get
them.
the
You
main
really start at like
continuity of what
3
we're
or
working with
4
here.
and get the main.
I remember that there
continuity
is a
of what we're
continuity,
working
but
with
I
here.
do not recall.
I remember
a lot of
that
the
there is a
details at
continuity,
this
but I
time,
do not recall a lot
unfortunately.
of the details at this time, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. I definitely need to do a rewatch of these. But yeah, man, this is one I will also absolutely want to go see in IMAX on the biggest screen possible that I can. It looks good. I'm like we now have Mission Impossible, John Wick, whatever they do with the next James Bond, like some good action franchises, some long running ones, some new ones. I'm like I like that we have these. Like I for also the like murder mystery movies. Like I want more of those.
Yes.
Right. We got our Knives Out. We got our Hercule Poirot stuff. I like these good, just straight, like it's this genre.
Right.
It's your action.
I love to have
It's so
friends
good.
that I
Right.
can count on going back.
I
to
love
see
to
in
have
the
friends
theater
that I
every
can
couple
count on
years,
going
whether
back
they
to
solve
see
a
in the
murder
theater
or jump
every
out of a
couple years,
helicopter,
whether they solve
or
a
whatever
murder
it
or
is they
jump out
do.
of a helicopter.
You know, we've got a
or
lot.
whatever it
We've
is
got
they
your
do.
massive.
You know, we've
Yeah.
got a lot. We've
Behemoths
got
like
your
your Marvel or
massive
your Fast and Furious, and I like
behemoths like
that
your
you've got these
Marvel or
ones
your
also that
Fast
are
and
just like
Furious, and I like that you've got these ones
slightly
also
more
that are
niche,
just like
slightly more specialized, with a more
slightly more
specific
niche, slightly more
theme and vibe
specialized,
to
with a
them.
more specific
And
theme
whatever
and
you want,
vibe
it's
to
out
them.
there. Go to your
I just-
theater,
whatever you want,
enjoy
it's
it
out there.
live.
Go to your
Yeah.
theater,
Those
enjoy
of
it
like mind
live.
around you,
Vibe with
those
people.
of like mind around you. Vibe with the people.
I just like that it's like it's a franchise that has also grown as it has done each of like an action movie
Yes.
in the 90s, right? It is
Yes.
like Mission Impossible 2. That's the one you want to watch, right? An action movie from the early 2000s, like Mission Impossible 3. That's the one you want to watch, right?
Right.
But I
Is
like
this
that
our?
they've tried to just keep it as like action. I guess you could say like spy, espionage, thriller, but like it feels to me like it is just very simply an action movie, and it's not trying to be these other things. That's where I think a lot of these new franchise can sometimes get muddled up. It's like you're trying to do too many things, and this is just action. And I'm just like,
it picked an angle. It's like we are going to be the absolute It's like we are going to be the absolute top in our field at this thing we're doing, which is
huge scale technical practical stunts.
Huge scale technical practical
nobody
stunts.
beats them at this.
Nobody beats them at this.
The first Mission Impossible movies
Exactly.
from like 90s.
The first Mission Impossible movies from like 90s.
Like this might be our longest running. Like this might be our longest running. Like every couple
continuous like
franchise of this kind that doesn't have
franchise of this.
I mean, it's been going longer than Fast and Furious. It doesn't have.
I mean, it's been going longer than Fast and Furious. It doesn't have
the way James Bond does.
Reset points in it the way
James Bond does. Where like Daniel
sort of
within and without of
is
the entire
sort of
Bond
within
history.
and without of
we Top Gun and then Top Gun Maverick, but I
imagine there could be a third one,
but that's not like a
I imagine there could be a third one, but that's not like a franchise
the same way this
going. It's really
consistent.
Yeah.
It's been consistent.
It's going. It's really consistent. It's been consistent for like 25
Keeping us
years.
safe out there. Thank you.
Good
Impossible
stuff.
Mission.
Keeping us
Good
safe
stuff.
out there. Thank you.
Thanks,
Impossible
Ethan.
Mission
Ethan.
Force.
Keep hunting.
Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah, so I think that's all we have to say for our trailer reaction, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we'll wrap things up right there. Melissa, where can the people find you?
You can find me on
the
Twitter and
internet?
Instagram at WilkyBet. That's
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyBet. That's a
and listen to my other
WILKY,
podcast, Saturday Morning
and listen to my
Obscurities.
other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
And there you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer. And if you would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a bunch. I will put some more of our videos right over there on that side of the screen for you all to check out. But yeah, this is it for now. So we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was a good one. Good fun one.